Good morning, how are you? So, I wanted to come and do a live with you this week and chat to you a little bit about my journey, I guess, because there's been I've had a lot of clients come to me lately, and I believe in being really authentic and really true to your story because it definitely helps people relate to you. So, I'm just going to show you around really quickly. So this is my beautiful home office. So I have my vision board up there, which I love, and I have little snippets of those dreams and goals kind of placed all around the house because that's sort of what keeps me going. And then, excuse my mess, my diary, my plants, all of my beautiful stuff of my Reese that helps me keep going, and my action board, which I love. So that's my little office. I spend a lot of time in here because this place actually inspires me. Probably 6 months ago it didn't quite inspire me, but I did a bit of a clean up and made sure that there was lots of inspiring things in here, because especially if you're working from home, you really want your space to be a beautiful, safe space for you to come and hang out, and you don't want to feel yucky about going in there. So yeah, I wanted to be really true and authentic with you, and just tell you a little bit about some of the things that have happened, I guess, along my journey, so that you know things aren't always perfect. I know it may look like, it's an easy thing to jump into, but it never is. So for me, the journey's actually been a fairly long one. And, I was one of those girls that was always brought up to work really hard for what you wanted. And I've pretty much been that way my whole life. And even now, I find it hard to switch off, because if I'm not doing something, I feel like I'm not working, which feels wrong. But I've had a pretty interesting journey. I've always been in sort of management roles and worked my way up through any business that I was working in. And then I got to this point where I was like, there has to be more to life than this. And I think definitely after I had my son, I had that huge moment. So I decided to quit my job at the bank that I was working at, which was an amazing job, and I met amazing people, but it really wasn't doing my soul any good anymore. And at about that time, I had really bad depression as well. So I just wanted to have a change. And then I started on this little journey of setting my own business up. I can tell you, and I'm sure if you spoke to anyone else out there who has done the same, it's not easy. And I did really think that because of all my management roles and running businesses, that I would know how to set my own up. But it's definitely not an easy journey, and you really do need some help and guidance along the way. And you need to know who your support crew is, because unfortunately those people who are closest to you aren't always the ones who are the most supportive of you. It's sad, but it's true. I've found the most support in other beautiful, amazing women who are on the same journey as me, because they understand that it's not just a 9 to 5 black and white kind of thing when you run your own business. So it is really important to surround yourself with the right people. It's also really important to not forget about you, not forget about your passions and your own self-love and your own self-care, because it is very easy to get wrapped up in this beautiful dream you have of helping other people, and you forget to look after yourself. So it's important to create balance and rituals and boundaries around your beautiful, safe workspace. So it is an absolute dream for me to be able to work in my own house, drop my little guy off, come home and work here. But if you think about it from the other side of things, I spend a lot of time in this house. So if I didn't actually get out and about, I literally would go crazy. And in fact, the last place I lived was a lot smaller, and I didn't have an office, and I actually felt a little bit like I was closed in, like I was in a jail, because I worked there, I lived there, and it was all sort of in the one room, which made it really hard as well. So the journey can be a little bit tricky, but it is important to have those key factors in place. So making sure you're having great boundaries and making sure you're looking after yourself and creating that perfect balance. So it does come down to knowing knowing that you only want to work for maybe 2-hour blocks now, and then coming back and, going doing something for yourself, and then coming back and having another 2 hours. So it's important to sort of break your day up like that, and it's important to have those morning rituals and things in your life, because it's exactly the same I know when I worked in my previous job, I had a little routine. I exercised in the morning, I got my coffee on the way to work, we had our set lunch breaks and breaks. So just because you're going to work for yourself, don't forget to have those morning rituals in there. Take your lunch break when you're supposed to. Take your breaks. So the journey isn't always easy, but it is something that you can definitely do. And I put a lot more of a bigger description in the description that I wrote, if you want to have a read after I finish today. But there's a lot in there about my journey, I guess. And when I did first leave the bank, I went and studied as a health coach. And as I started studying all these amazing things about food and actual lifestyle elements that can really be affecting your life, so things like your career, your relationships, all of those really big key factors that we don't actually think about when we're not feeling good. We think it's food or something else. All of it mixed together is what it is. So when I started really looking at those things as I was studying, I started to make a few shifts. And over the last 3 years, it has been a roller coaster, but I'm finally feeling like I've got that balance now. And I had a lot of help along the way, but I can definitely say that by putting those rituals in place, by looking after myself, giving that self-care and self-love to myself as well, I'm feeling, a really great balance. I'm excited to come in and do my work. I'm excited to go and do my exercise. I'm 15 kilos lighter, which blows my mind because I never even thought I could be that weight. So, and I haven't been massively trying. I've just been really looking after myself. So a lot of the times when we're stressed and overwhelmed with different elements of our life, it can have a roll-on effect with our actual health and wellness. So what I like to do with my clients is something called a lifestyle wheel. And basically it shows you those main elements in your life, and you can kind of give it a bit of a rating to see where you're feeling at the time. And those things that maybe aren't rated as high as they could be, they're the things that we have a little work on and try and improve. And that's all I've been doing the last couple of years, is just focusing on these points that I wasn't liking in my life, till I've got to a point now where I'm loving it. So that's pretty much it for me today. My Balanced Entrepreneur Circle actually starts next Tuesday, and what we cover off in that is a lot of the stuff I've learned over my journey, and it's really important. I'm getting such great feedback about it, because if you're an entrepreneur and you're working from home and you're overwhelmed and stressed, you would know what I mean about having to create these beautiful elements in your life to help you get back to balance. Otherwise, you just feel like you're constantly, on that wheel running around rather than making progress with your business or your life. So you can check out the link in the comments, or go to bit.ly/B-circle, and you can check out that mastermind that starts next week. So until next time, I really hope, if you have any questions at all about the mastermind, or if you've started your journey and you'd like to ask me anything, please feel free to comment below, or you can email me at any time. All right, well, lots of love from me, and I hope to chat to you again soon. Bye.